Hi there everybody, I'm Rosslyn and welcome to my new series in which I am going to do playthroughs. I'm going to read out the lore. There are, I think, 5 lore chapters in this Knightmare book and then an adventure section at the back here. So we've got about this much lore and this much adventure. And this is Knightmare the Forbidden Gate, which is one of the rarer Knightmare game books. It was written in 1992 by Dave Morris. I'm going to read out the blurb and then chapter 1 of this book. If your heels be nimble and light, you can get there by candlelight. Setting out to explore a mysterious overgrown path, Sam, Jimmy and Pippa discover they have stumbled upon a magic gateway to a world of dreams, the legendary Knightmare Castle. But Treguard, master of Knightmare Castle, has been taken prisoner by the dark powers of the Dreadlord Fear. Read carefully, for as Treguard and the group venture into the depths, you too must prepare for the ultimate challenge, the monstrous puzzles and sorcery of ITV's award-winning game series Knightmare. Can Treguard thwart the grim plans of Lord Fear and survive the dark challenge of the shadowy caverns below the castle? Can you? It's a good question. Dunno. We'll have to see. But first, I'll have to read the 5 chapters. Chapter 1. Babylon Walk. Look at this, called Jimmy. What is it? What's he found now? Asked Pippa. Sam let go of her arm. You wait here. I'll go and see. Pippa heard Sam walk back a few yards. Oh, that's odd. I've never noticed it until now. Pippa tapped her white stick against the curb. From the warm, hoppy smell in the air, she knew they must be on the other side of the road from the pub. She must be blind. Since school broke up, Pippa had been staying with her friend Samantha. They had come this way dozens of times, on their way to and from the shops. There hadn't been anything remarkable here before. Pippa turned round and carefully made her way back. Hey, said Jimmy, watch you don't step into the road. I'm not a total nerd, said Pippa. Yeah, unlike you, Jimmy, chimed in Sam. He's found an old gate, Pippa. What? One that was never here before? You've lived just around the corner for years, Sam. Well, I suppose I never noticed it. Sam described it to her friend. There was a wooden gate set between 2 old stone posts. Jimmy had to stand on tiptoe to look over. On the other side was an overgrown path of moss-covered stepping stones, shaded from the afternoon sunlight by maple and sycamore trees. Bees buzzed idly in the summer heat. A butterfly slowly unfolded its wings, glittering like a jewel. It doesn't sound at all like the sort of thing you'd expect to find in this part of London. Oh, are they in London? Well, they're all Scottish in London. Why not? Anyway, that's Pippa saying that. Jimmy climbed up onto the top of the gate. No, it's really weird. It must run between the infant school and the block of flats, I suppose. You just can't see it fae there because of the trees on either side. Pippa rested her hand against one of the posts, and immediately her fingers found an indentation. Hey, there's something written here. Sam plucked away tendrils of ivy. It Babylon Walk? Oh, Jimmy, don't fool about, you'll fall. There was a scrabbling sound as Jimmy disappeared from view, followed by a thump and a loud "Ow!" from the other side of the gate. Sam peered over. "Are you hurt, Clumsy?" Jimmy was rubbing a graze on his knee. Oh, the fall had brought tears to his eyes, but he blinked them away and pretended it was nothing. Oh, it was bad enough being a younger brother without getting called a softy as well. "Come on, let's see where it leads," he said. Sam glanced along the strange path. There was something really eerie about it, like it was totally out of place. "Oh, we ought to go back. You've got to get that cunt cleaned up." "You'll sound just like Mum in a few years, you know that." Oh, must be their mum that's Scottish then. Jimmy started along the path. "Oh, wait a minute." Sam reached over and pulled the latch, but the gate was locked. Jimmy waited. He had not really been keen to explore the path on his own, but luckily Sam hadn't thought to call his bluff. He went back and waited while the girls climbed over. "It's very quiet, isn't it?" Pippa noticed after they had gone only a few paces. "You can hardly hear the traffic on the road at all." Sam pushed at the overhanging branches. It was like walking down a low green tunnel, golden light hanging in sparse patches between the shade. Jimmy plucked something from a leaf and put it on his sleeve. "Look at that caterpillar." Sam curled her lip. "Oh, it looks like a big green slug. You're disgusting." Pippa was beginning to feel uneasy. "Look, isn't it time we were heading back?" "But we haven't found where it leads to yet," protested Jimmy. "Well, look another time," said Sam. She took Pippa by the arm and started to lead her back. She could see the deathly hush had given her friend the creeps, and she wasn't going to expose her to Jimmy's taunts. As they made their way back to the gate, Jimmy turned and cupped a hand to his ear. "Listen, did you hear that?" Sam made a face at him. "Stop messing about, Jimmy." "No, really, there's something there." Jimmy stopped and took one step back along the path. Just as he did, an enormous dog came padding softly out of the shadows under the trees. "Wow," said Sam. Seeing Pippa's confusion, she added, "It's a big gangling dog, Pippa. He's lovely. Oh, isn't he just? Here's a picture. What a fab dog. He comes with sparkles and everything. That's how great of a dog he is." The dog came bounding up to them, wagging his tail. He looked to be half bloodhound and half everything else. He almost knocked Jimmy over with a slurp of his slobbering tongue. "Ugh, gross," howled Jimmy, wiping spittle off his face. Sam patted the dog. He seemed friendly enough, in fact, almost too friendly. When they returned along the path to the gate, he insisted on following them. "Shoo, Scram, you have to go back now," Sam told the dog as she helped Pippa over the gate. They got over the gate and started down the hill towards home. Moments later, there was a soft thud on the pavement behind them. They turned. The dog had jumped over the gate and was now trotting along behind them down the road. "He's determined to come home with us," said Sam. "Maybe there's a creepy old house where he lives at the end of the path and the cruel owner maltreats the poor thing," suggested Pippa, smiling at her own flight of fancy. "No, Samantha, of course you can't keep him. Tell her, George. Oh, right, we had stars. I think this is a next piece. It's still the first chapter, but we get a break is what it is. Okay, so there's stars, we've got a break. So this is different people in a different scene talking. Right. So this is a scene with the mother and father. So we're all siblings, right? And this is our mum and dad talking. No, Samantha, of course you can't keep him. Tell her, George. I've decided our parents are... our mum's meant to be Scottish though, isn't she? Didn't we decide that earlier? Because Sam sounded quite like the mum. Right, I'll give my mum a Scots voice. I'll give my dad a London one. It explains why we're down there, if he's from London. Right. No, Samantha. Of course you can't keep him. Tell her, George. Sam's father glanced over the top of his drawing board. You can't keep him, sweetheart, he said dutifully. Sam put a protective arm around the dog, whom she decided had to have the name Gobble. It seemed to fit. So far, he had gobbled his way through an entire steak and an old piece of pie, which Sam's mother had found in the fridge. But he chose us, Sam protested. He followed us home. Like children, dogs don't have any say as to who they live with, dear, said her mother. But can't we just keep him for, a little while? We can't just put him out in the street. Sam's father took off his glasses, pinched the bridge of his nose and sighed. Well, I suppose he'll have to stay for a few days just until we find the owner. Pippa thinks he's a nasty old guy in a creepy house, put in Gemma. Och, not really, said Pippa. So he can stay then, Sam persisted. For now, anyway. Her mother nodded. But he sleeps out at the back. You can put a box outside or something for him. I'll find an old blanket we didn't want. Tomorrow I'll put a notice in the newsagent's window. I hope we find the owner soon, said Jimmy. I wouldn't have minded that steak myself. Right, so we've got a wee gap again. Change the scene. Right. Pippa woke suddenly with a slight gasp. Her heart was thudding in her chest. Her eyes snapped open, but of course that made no difference. She was surrounded by darkness, as always. She had just been having a dream in which dead tree branches brushed her face and odd sounds came out of the night to frighten her. She'd been running, stumbling, sprawling along a secret path. Behind her, there had been a hot, damp snuffling, like some sort of animal. Or had there been someone else there? Pippa blinked. No, she'd lost it. Her dreams were always confused medleys of smell, sound and touch. She could never remember them for long. Outside in the night, she heard a faint sound, a mournful double tone. It took her a few moments to place it, but she was good at that sort of thing. A hunting horn, she thought. But here, in the middle of South London? Surely not. She waited, her heartbeat returning to normal as the memory of her nightmare faded. She had just about convinced herself that she had dreamt the hunting horn too, a fugitive scrap of her nightmare that spilled over into wakefulness, when it came again. A ghostly blare from far away, as though, just beyond the streets with their occasional hum of late-night traffic, lay wild moors and wind-swept heaths. The idea was absurd, of course. Yet another example of Pippa's overactive imagination getting the better of her. The nearest thing to a wild moor around here was a rather meagre patch of common about half a mile away. Not much point hunting there. You could ride from one end to the other in a little over a minute. The horn sounded again. Pippa turned over and started to pull the pillow around her ears. Annoying, right, Pippa? Right? Suddenly there was a furious barking from Gobble. Down in the back garden, other dogs took up the cry, sending a cacophony of barks across the moonlit roofs. Most people had their windows open because of the heat. Pippa heard someone yell something from the house over the back. Then there was an exasperated cry from Sam's parents, sleeping in the room next to hers. She heard a sort of sheet-entangled sleepy stomping, then Sam's father's voice calling out of the window. "Stop that! You stupid dog! Shut up and go to sleep!" Hadn't anyone else heard the hunting horn then? Just her and Gobble. That struck Pippa as rather uncanny. And as she drifted back into a troubled sleep, another thought kept gnawing at her brain. Gobble's bark hadn't been the friendly sort of sound that she had heard him make before. He'd sounded terrified. Yeah. That's the end of chapter 1. Bye-bye for now. Isn't that exciting, though? I hope to see you in chapter 2. Toodaloo.